Hey, welcome to Office Hours, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you're doing well. We will get this show on the road here in just a moment. Welcome. If you wouldn't mind, just let me know if you can see me and hear me okay. I would appreciate it. Charles and Linda, good to see you here. I know I owe you a response to your message. Sorry about that. Welcome, everybody. James, good to see you, sir. Charles and Linda. Lauren Alves, good to see you. Yes, voice of AI, exciting. Absolutely. Tyra Consulting, good to see you. Scott, what's up, Scott? Good to see you. Mark, happy Friday from UK. Thank you for joining us, Mark. AT, good to see you, sir. T. Kevin White, welcome. Robert Beck Jr., yes, AI pricing. I have some updates on that we will talk about. John, good to see you. Sean, great to see you. James, very good. Shane, oh, he says all good, as in the systems are all good. Good, thank you. Shane, good to see you, sir. Awesome, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Darren. Tim, hello from Utah. Awesome, welcome. Hello to everybody from sunny San Diego. We got a gorgeous day here. Felt like fall this morning, which was really nice. It was nice and cool out when I stepped outside. So we're getting our, we're getting our version of seasons here, which we do get a little bit of seasons. So that's awesome. And hope everybody who celebrated Halloween had a good time. My daughter is at that age now, 13 years old, where I have been relieved of trick-or-treating duties. She was my last one, but last year was the first year where it was like, yeah, I'm off with my friends, Dad. Have a good time. And this year was no different. I was drop off and pickup duty, but otherwise I was relieved of my trick-or-treating duties. So, but had a nice Halloween, beautiful night. I hope everybody else did. Let's get this show on the road. We got lots of exciting stuff to talk about. I know with the state of HighLevel in particular. Obviously, we just got back from the HighLevel Summit this last week. And was it last week? The week before? I don't know. It's all blending together. Anyway. And their level update, they release 300 plus features and updates. And, it's pretty incredible to see what they're doing and what they've done so far, what they have ahead. And so there's a lot of just kind of mind spinning on where do you start and what are all the possibilities. So we'll talk a little bit about that today. And also just make sure and answer any questions that I can for you and do my best to help you in any way that I can. Starting with, I'm going to head over real quick to our community online here real quick and just check in Moguls. Moguls is our paid mastermind that you also get access to for free if you are signed up for HighLevel through us, or you upgrade through us. And so let me just check the questions over there first. Let's see here. Tim Morris, who is also on the call here today, says, just watch your video about the opportunity with voice AI. What price range do you think makes sense for selling this as a foot in the door? And what would you recommend for the rebilling rate? All right, cool. That's a great question. So I think just like any other service, you're going to see that you can use this as a foot in the door, low price, aggressive price, or you can use this as a standalone service that you're charging normal healthy margins on. You're also just going to have this, bundled into a package of services, and the price will just kind of, to some extent, be blended in there. So you're going to see any and all combinations of that, and they're all absolutely going to be viable. So let me share with you what I know about the major pricing update that's going to happen to AI here very, very quickly. Okay. One, and shit, I think I'm allowed to say this publicly. I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to say it publicly. Oh, hold on. Okay, perfect. Yes, I can say this publicly. Literally just got the message from Sean Clark saying I can say this publicly. So here's the deal. Starting here in just the next week or two, apologize, I don't have the exact details. Voice AI is going to be free. So temporarily, okay, temporarily. Voice AI is going to be free for you temporarily. So plan on that being through the end of the year. And, of course, who knows what they do to potentially extend that or anything like that. But you can count on that you're going to have a good 6-week period or so, maybe a little bit longer than that, where you could introduce this to customers, test it, things like that, and have no charge. So how freaking cool is that, right? I love HighLevel. They're so generous and they're so smart about, getting their products and services into our hands and letting us go out there and, you know, uh, make some money off of it and learn how to sell it without some of that price pressure, like just these questions you're asking, perfectly normal questions. This is a brand new technology just getting into the market. So how's it going to be priced? So we're going to have like this good 6-week period or so, at least, where it's going to be free. Then after that, it is expected that immediately following that, and I say it's expected because there's development around this, but it is expected that immediately following that, it will be one of two options. One, it will be a price per use model. So very similar to what they already have with SMS and email and things like that. So you could offer it to customers and just say, hey, it's going to be, X dollars a minute or whatever it is, however they're going to structure that, with an option to go unlimited at like $97 a month. Okay. So in other words, if somebody is using it so much that it's going to go over $97 a month in charges to them or to you for giving them access, you could cap it at $97 a month and just say, hey, for this customer, I only want it to be $97 a month, to me, that I'm getting charged. And that's going to be unlimited usage then for this account. Okay. So we're getting kind of the best of both worlds here. We're getting a price per use for those smaller customers that maybe are not going to use it very much, but you're like, yeah, but this is a really valuable, sticky thing. I want to have it in there. I want them to get the benefit of it, even if they're not going to use it much. I don't want to be charged the full 97 a month because they're going to be barely using it. They're a very small business, whatever it is. And then we're also going to have the ability, the benefit to be able to say, okay, this customer is using it a bunch. I don't want to have to charge them $750 a month, $900 a month because they're using it so much. You can get your cost capped on that account at $97 a month, unlimited use, and then give them whatever fee you want. I mean, you could still charge them on a per minute basis, or you could charge them $297 a month. You're getting charged $97. You're making $200 a margin, 67% margins, and everybody wins. Okay. So Charles and Linda said our cost would be $97 a month, right? Then we should our 30% or whatever markup. Yeah. So yes, much more than 30% markup, Charles and Linda, please. Okay. We need more markup than that. But yes, the cost to you on an unlimited would be $97 a month. Okay. So does that make sense? I just want to make sure that that's clear. You're going to have a pay-per-use model, and you're going to have the option to just say, hey, it's $97 a month, because the charges would be much higher because the usage on this account is going to be much higher. So you would have either option there. Okay. And yes, that's per sub account, Charles and Linda. Yeah, per sub account. Yep. So if you had, some law firm that's the phones are ringing off the hook and they're using this like crazy, then you could say, hey, for this account, I'm going to charge them whatever. I'm going to charge them $497 a month, but my cost is going to be capped at 97, so that I know that there's just going to be a set cost to it. Okay, so That's going to be super, super sexy. That's going to, I mean, we are essentially getting the best of all worlds. Okay, cool. So Sean just sent me a public help doc, actually. So I'm gonna go ahead. Let's see here. I think I can post this. Yeah, I think I can post this. Let me just make sure. Okay, yep, I can post this. So let me go ahead and find a way to share this. So, see if this works. No. See if it works this way. Yes. Okay. So I just put a public document in the comments here that explains it's got all of the AI pricing on a pay per usage basis, as well as their plan to go unlimited. And it looks like they are going to they're going to make all AI free during that period of time. So voice, conversation, reviews, content. So essentially, they're just making a big AI push for all of us for the end of the year, which is amazing. Okay. So that's incredible. And let me just ask him one more question while he seems to be active. Okay. Sorry. So it's good though. We're getting it straight from Sean. I have the CEO of HighLevel right now messaging us. So let's go ahead and get it from him while we can, right? So anyway, I mean I love what they're doing, guys. I no surprise that I think that this technology is just going to be a crazy winner. And also that HighLevel is doing everything that they can to put it into our hands to get it out there so that we can all learn from it and benefit, right? We're all going to learn from getting it into customers' hands, what's working, what's not. We're going to learn from our ability to sell and communicate the message, what's working, what's not. And so to be able to do that for 6 weeks with no price pressure is huge. So if you are already paying for the AI, just so you know, they will pause your payments. So you won't be if you have already agreed to pay for the AI like I have, you will not be paying for it during that period of time. They're going to pause those payments. Okay. Awesome. All right. I know we have more to talk about that. We will talk more about that. Let me just make sure I address some additional questions in here. Ads best practices and accountability. We've been running UpHex ads for a while now. I brought in the folks at GTM Spark to manage and optimize our ads with good success. One of our first customers to leverage this setup said that we've brought them more leads in the first month than their previous agency did in the prior 6 months. Wow. This got me thinking, with all the super brain power in here, is anyone else interested in sharing best practices for what's working and driving leads and holding each other accountable? Just thought I'd ask. That's from Charles and Linda, who are on this call. I love that idea, Charles and Linda. I think that's fantastic. So if you are in the Moguls community, make sure and take a look at that. Currently the third post down. And if you would like to have a group that is putting their heads together to share best practices and learn from each other regarding paid ads and lead generation, I would suggest that you connect there. Let's see here. Charles and Linda also asked, when do I expect to publish the 2025 Moguls events calendar? That is a great question. The answer is soon. Here in the next couple weeks. I would say I will get that published and out there. And then let's see here. See, we got question in here that was also posted in the Circle community. Tyra Consulting says, I don't see the question though, so I'll wait for that to come in. Let's see here. James Valentino, who might be on this call, I'm not sure, asking about, I have communication in the onboarding sequence for moguls telling you to sign up for 2 calls each week. Yes, we discontinued that some time ago, and I need to update that communication. My apologies. I discontinued that just because it's too many stinking calls. None of us need to be on that many calls. We need to be out working and getting shit done. And so we changed that to a workshop model, which I will, as we just mentioned earlier, update that calendar here in the next couple of weeks. SaaS $497 or unlimited $297. Okay, this may be Tyra Consulting, John. This may be the question you were asking about. John says, still going through the training as fast as I can, but would like to know if the advice is still the same from the SaaS model pro level thread from last year. Is manually sending recurring invoices via the $297 unlimited sufficient until I get a few new customers? Okay, John, in my opinion, there is really no good reason to be at the $297 level of HighLevel. Okay. And that is not just me trying to upsell you on, I give you the same bonuses whether you sign up at $97 a month or $497 a month. So I am indifferent. I want you to choose. I should say I want you to choose the right thing for you. To me, the $297 is a no man's land that doesn't make a lot of sense unless the services that you're offering are not going to in any way take advantage of rebilling, SMS, email, stuff like that. So if you are not including any of those rebilling capabilities, which now includes the AI suite, which it's hard for me. I mean, very hard for me to imagine a case where that will be true, that you're just not going to take advantage of any of that stuff in your services. But let's just say that's possible. You could just be hosting websites, right? And not doing anything with those websites that integrates with, the AI chat or any of that type of stuff. Then you could just be on the $297 plan. Although, would that even make sense? Because the web hosting that's available now, the web hosting that's available is SaaS. So anyway, I really don't think that there's a great case to be made for why you would be at the $297 plan versus $497. And to make sure that is clear, why, when you're able to mark up all those resellable services as part of your service plans, you're going to be making enough money from that markup very quickly to cover the $200 difference between the $297 plan and the $497 plan. So, and you're getting just a lot more capabilities. So I don't think that there's a good reason to be at the $497 plan. I would stick at the $97 plan until you have your plans figured out. You got a couple of customers, and then I would immediately jump to the $497 plan and use the extra pressure of an extra $200 a month to get your ass out there selling harder. Okay. Let's see here. Shane says, ask a question in the HighLevel discussion. Let me get back there. I'm sorry, in the high leverage agency discussion. Gotcha, Shane. Let's hear. Shane asks, cold calling versus social posting. I read this in the phone script for the free website offer. You said, to be very clear, the only reason I think you should bother cold calling these days is if you have absolutely nothing better to do, which means you've already created and posted social content for the day, followed up with any previous leads, run ad campaigns if you have budget, etc. Is this true when you are just starting out? If I only had a couple of hours per day to work on my business, should I focus on social posting before doing cold calls? It seems like the social posting is better for long term, but if I want to get a client quicker, I should do cold calls. Okay, Shane, this is a fantastic question. Thank you for asking. I think that this applies to so many people. Okay, so Shane, I want to try and do my best to be clear on this, so I don't cause confusion or anything for anybody. Okay, if you have all the time in the world and no money, then you should spend you should maximize the amount of time that you're doing everything organic that you can do, which includes creating and posting content. Content, I mean, like as an educational content, maybe blog posts, things like that, doing presentations, videos, good old social content that's maybe a little bit shorter form, but it's still getting your brand out there, that type of thing. And then the rest of your time, pretty much, I mean, sending a newsletter, all that good stuff. The rest of your time, you could absolutely fill every minute of the day with cold prospecting. I mean, if you can cold call 6 hours a day when you have all the time in the world and you don't have any money, okay, and I've been there many times, then cold call like a machine. Absolutely. Also, though, I want to make sure that you understand that cold prospecting or ideally warm prospecting on social media, to me, is still way higher in the hierarchy of things that are going to work in today's world and be time efficient than cold calling. Okay. Cold calling is, I think, the toughest racket in the world right now. Cold social or warm social connection. So hitting somebody up in the messengers, commenting on their posts, things like that, to try and get engagement with them that way. And you could do that in an hour a day. So again, none of these things have to be exclusive to each other, but there's like this hierarchy, right? So connecting with people that way, sending out cold email campaigns, right? And then cold calling. I would just put cold calling at the bottom of that list because it is the least time efficient and also, I think, the most difficult in today's world. Now, it can still absolutely work. Okay. So again, if you have all the time, then that will be a component of what you're doing as well. I just think it should be the last component. Okay. Jonathan, Jonathan, I got to get you if you're on this. Sorry, I haven't responded to your video yet. I got to do that. Jonathan, who we had on a couple of calls ago, and he was at the HighLevel Summit, great member of our community, has built up a really nice monthly recurring revenue business just doing my website model, just cold calling. And he's a heck of a cold caller. He loves to cold call. He loves to get into conversations with people. That's his personality. And so he's a cold calling machine. He now is switching more of his time and effort into creating content and stuff like that, because even though he loves to cold call, he realizes, okay, but wait a minute, I'm leaving equity on the table in terms of brand equity and stuff like that, because when you make a cold call, that cold call is done, it's gone, it's evaporated into the universe. Nobody knows that you made the call. Nobody cares that you made the call. There's zero equity value in that call, unless, of course, you actually got a hold of the prospect, had a good conversation, all that good stuff. But that's a very small percentage of calls. The rest of those calls, you literally just spun your wheels, pretty much, right? Versus if you post any piece of content online, there's at least some degree of equity in that content. It has value. You can argue what the value is. I'm not saying, that like, as an example, my Instagram posts on, my Mike Cooch account, right? My business Instagram account. Some of those you could argue very little equity to no equity. Some of them you could argue more equity. Here I am standing with the founders of HighLevel getting an award. Here I am showing my, YouTube account has 700,000 views, things like that. There's something there, because at some point or another, you guys or some interested prospect who doesn't know me that well yet is going to stop. They're going to go over to my social profiles. They're going to go over to my website. They're going to see some of this stuff and they're going to go, oh, Mike seems like a legit guy, right? If I had not done that and I just spent all my time cold calling, I would lose that equity value. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of people who do cold calling do. Okay. So I would just make sure that you are doing all of those things first. So you mentioned that you have like a couple of hours a day. I would not do cold calling in that couple of hours a day. I would do everything else. I would make sure I'm getting some content out the door. And then every single day, I would make sure that I'm doing cold email. I would try and make sure that I'm doing social engagement. And then I would be following up with anybody who's shown any interest. And then, gosh, if you have another 10 minutes left in that 2 hours to then make some cold calls, and you want to hustle through some cold calls, awesome. But there are many things that you can and should be doing that are more time efficient and build some actual equity value that I would rather see you do. Okay. So I hope that that is clear. I hope that that helps you, Shane, and anybody else who's listening to this who wonders how all of these things potentially fit together. I try to be as clear as I can. If you look at the marketing plan that I have in High Leverage Agency, it's also in the High Level Fast Start, I believe. I think everybody should be trying to do just about everything, right? So there is no one sales and marketing tactic that I say, oh yeah, just do that. That's the best. That's the best thing in the world. Because I don't care if you're a great cold caller. Yes, you will build your business just like Jonathan, who I mentioned earlier, is. And that's fantastic. But if you're a great cold caller and somebody else is a great cold caller and also is publishing content, they're going to beat you, right? So ideally, you should be publishing content in today's world. You can't argue with the value of it, right? So I hope that that makes sense. And you should try and get after it with a variety of approaches and understand that there is a hierarchy to them as to how effective and valuable they're going to be for you. Okay. Let's see here. Another question in moguls. Let me just go back there real quick, and then I will get to some of the questions here in the chat. Let's see here real quick. Okay, Tim says, I've got a consumer-facing brand under my primary marketing agency brand. The conversations under each brand are completely different. Is voice AI programmed with prompt edits per phone number? In other words, can I create a different experience based on which number is called? Conversation AI. Similarly, can conversation AI be tuned to the accounts I've connected to it? Yes and yes, Tim. Yeah, so when you set up an AI agent here, let me just hop over to mine real quick on services that scale, and I will show you real quick. But the answer is yes and yes, and the AI voice agent, Tim, you set up the agent per phone number. So, shoot. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so you set it up per phone number. And then you, hold on real quick. Sorry, guys. Okay, let me just share my screen. And then you can do what you want per agent. So you can see right here, hopefully. Yeah, you can see I've got these two different numbers and two different agents. These, in my case, I'm pretty indifferent to the fact that they're two different agents. I mean, it's pretty much the same experience, or I should say is the same experience. But yes, what you could do, Tim, is you could tweak each of those so they are a totally different experience. So you have somebody calling in on one number, gets one thing, calling on a different number, gets something else, which I actually really like. I hadn't put a whole lot of thought into that, Tim, that within a business, you would want to have multiple experiences, but I can totally see it, right? You want to have one that's like for sales related, one that's for service related. You have two different numbers for those things. You could have something that's specifically for appointment booking or, something like that. Absolutely. So, all right, let me jump into some of the questions here in the comments. I'll just do this one real quick because it's easy. Jeff, yes, if you sign up for High Level through me, any level, you will get all of my bonuses, as well as if you are already a High Level customer and you want to upgrade through me, you'll get all of my bonuses either way. Okay. All right, let's see here. Lauren says, Charles and Linda, I had it set up. This is voice AI he's referring to in about 10 minutes and had my wife call it, blew her mind, especially when we had just talked about how nice it would be to have that as a backup for her biz. It's going to be so cool. And it's going to be everywhere. So, and I say it's going to be everywhere because this should be one of the fastest adopted products, I think, in small business history. Honestly, like if you look at the adoption rate of, um, you know, email, if you look at the adoption rate of the internet, right? Things like that. I imagine that this is going to be one of those products that gets adopted like that because there's just no good reason not to be taking advantage of it from a cost perspective, from a benefit perspective, everything. Robert says, can you break down the new AI pricing? Also, I have a new SaaS customer and it looks like they're on the unlimited AI plan. What am I seeing or what I'm seeing? The help docs don't seem to give enough detail on this. Okay, Robert. Yeah, so I think that we just covered that. So hopefully you're good with that now. But what you currently see in the system is you turn on that $97 and it's unlimited, but that is going to quickly change to either unlimited or pay per use, and you're going to have that choice. Okay, and then how you price it and you mark it up and you pitch it and all that is up to you. Referring to the AI employee and how all of the AI services relate or are tied together. So if we go to, let me just, hold on. Let me see if I can get this document up real quick. Give me 1 second, gang. Let's get that document that I just shared real quick. Actually, I just shared it here. Okay. Let me go to that. Do that. Hold on 1 second. I can't click on that or copy and paste it from my view here. All right, let me just share my screen here real quick, and we will try to figure this out together because this is hot off the press. This literally just came to me as we were sitting here talking. So AI employee is how they're referring to this suite of AI features that you can offer. So that's just the name for the whole thing. So we've got voice AI, conversation AI, funnel and website AI, content AI, reviews AI, and workflow AI. Pretty stinking cool, pretty powerful. This is why this is a really good example of what I want to stress to people in that you got to get away from the damn agency business mindset, right? I mean, Charles and Linda and some of my other people here have already drank the Kool-Aid. You are a provider of systems to help these businesses succeed. Systems, as you know, my definition includes services. It's not just tools. So I'm not saying that you're just going to drop some tools in the small business's lap and leave them alone, but I am saying that you should be not thinking about time and talent services in any way, really. I mean, you're just leaving so much money and growth and opportunity on the table if you're thinking that way. Versus, look at this. I don't have to have any marketing knowledge, much to speak of at all, to turn these things on for my customers and get them incredible benefits for years and years and years to come. Okay, do I need some marketing knowledge? Of course, to take advantage of funnels and workflows and reviews and stuff like that. Do I need some marketing knowledge? Yes. Do I need to be a marketing guru in any way? No. And do I need to spend a bunch of my time and talent to activate voice or conversation AI for a customer and get a massive benefits? No, not at all. These offers create a superior business model for you. Okay? They create a superior business model for you. And you've got to fully drink that Kool-Aid so you don't miss out on this opportunity and still think that you're going to run around doing custom consulting things and stuff like that and make your money that way. You will shoot yourself in the foot by doing that, and you'll be really mad at yourself in 3 years from now when you realize the number of people that have built up really incredible recurring revenue streams and you have not. The stories coming out of the summit of the people who were previously agencies selling high ticket things who have now gone 100% this way and are killing it. And their lives are just so much better. I want to hear those stories from everybody over the next few years. Okay. So anyway, sorry. So yes, this AI employee refers to this whole suite. You can see here that each product has its own pay-per usage pricing structure. Okay. So that just is what it is. I mean, the great thing is that you can set your margins on these things. And so you don't have to be overly concerned about, reviews. AI is 8 cents for per review, and voice AI is 13 cents. And gosh darn it, that's a 5-cent difference. And what kind of problems are that going to, cause me or whatever? It just is what it is. I don't know exactly why the cost structure of one thing is different from the other, but obviously they know their numbers. So that is what it is. But you can turn all of this on to unlimited usage, right? And so collectively, if a customer is running up, usage and you're getting charged, and now the charge is going to start going over $100 a month to you, you can say, okay, forget it. I'm just going to go ahead and turn it on to unlimited. Let these guys use it as much as possible. And you could continue charging them on a per usage basis, or you could turn it onto a flat fee and just say, hey, it's $4.97 a month. You get unlimited usage of all of this. And your costs are capped from HighLevel at 97. Okay. So that is how that is going to work. Okay. And I say that's how that's going to work as if it's, exactly set in stone. You guys know, of course, some of the stuff is going to change and get tweaked and all that here as they go and they learn more about it. And so just, expect that. But I also know you can expect from HighLevel that anytime they change or tweak anything, they're going to try and do it in a way that's advantageous for us, rather than, causing us any problems. So, which is awesome. Let's see here. Tyra says, I'll take your version of the fall of the one we're having here in Texas. Yeah, absolutely. AT says, can you please elaborate on with a solid marketing system, many times expensive ad campaigns aren't necessary? I recall you talking about this before, but I can't remember the details. Yeah, okay. So AT, what I mean by that is that if you are, as we just mentioned earlier, what I would suggest to you is that you are trying to take a relatively full approach to marketing your business in a variety of different ways. Okay. And as you do that, you've got more hooks out there in the world that are making connections to people, that are maintaining connections to people, building your brand, right? You've got the variety of pieces of content out there that people search and find. They've got, you've got YouTube videos, whatever it is. You've got a variety of things out there. Then you are less reliant on having to do paid ads every day. And particularly expensive paid ads. I think that to me, there's no case that makes sense for not doing any paid ads. I think that we should all be doing some paid advertising. Okay. I always have an ad budget running at my business, regardless. It doesn't matter. There's always money being spent on ads. Okay. Why? Because the way that the world works, I can get more distribution of my content by just giving a little bit of money and saying, okay, I got, 10,000 views organically. Let's get me another 30,000 views paid. And it doesn't cost me that much money. It doesn't cost me even as much as it probably cost me to create the content in the first place, because advertising has become so damn affordable. So, you should be doing paid advertising. But what has happened to AT, and I was guilty of this for years, is that paid advertising has become so good that if you are able to monetize your paid advertising effectively, it can become like a drug that when that drug is taken away, it can be very, very damaging to your business if you have not also built up that more robust presence by doing more organic marketing in a variety of different ways. Okay. And I'm a perfect case study of this, man. I'll tell you a brutal story. Okay. Back, I don't know, with this 6 years ago or something like that, I had the eighth fastest growing e-commerce business on Shopify. Started it kind of on a whim because I had a little team that was awesome. They were some of my A players from my previous businesses. I'd moved them out here to San Diego when I moved out here. We had a little office at the beach, had some money to play with, and was just like, entrepreneur ADD. And Shopify launched their Shopify challenge. And the winner of the Shopify challenge was going to get to go do a bunch of cool stuff, like, hang out on Necker Island with Richard Branson and all this stuff. And so we literally launched an e-commerce business just to see if we could win that freaking thing. And so we built this business. I mean, it was a rocket ship, fastest growing business I've ever built by far. And we were using paid ads on Facebook to do it. And we got to the point where, I can't remember how many thousands of dollars a day I was spending on paid ads on Facebook, but it was north of $5,000 a day. And it was some days, probably much higher than that. And then all of a sudden, as many of you experienced or know, Facebook just shut down our account out of the blue, and the gravy train came to a halt. And we had hundreds of thousands of dollars of inventory we just paid for and all that type of stuff. And then all of a sudden it stopped, and it was brutal. Now, thankfully, because I understand, hey, you got to build, some more valuable assets. I built my email list to 60,000, prospects by that point, and a bunch of happy customers. And so, we were able to keep, some sales going and keep the lights on kind of thing, but it was ugly. It was ugly. And that can happen so quickly with those paid ad campaigns, where either one, you get your account shut off, two, something changes in the way that the ad platform is just handling ads and campaigns, and it's just out of your control. Three, competition matches your funnels, swipes all your funnels, and next thing you know, you're not unique out there in the marketplace anymore, and you have to adapt, and you can't find a winning funnel as easily, and you're in big trouble. So it is like a drug that you should do everything that you can to have a more robust and complete approach so that you can minimize the use of that drug as much as you possibly can. Okay. I hope that helps. Let's see here. Okay, so lots of people are asking again about how we would price this voice AI. So I think that there's the way you price it in terms of communication of value, and then there's the way that you actually charge for it. And those can be two very different things. Okay. I think in terms of the way you price and you demonstrate that pricing, you want it to be based on, in my opinion, the fact that they are going to save from not having to spend money on employees to do that kind of work, and the fact that they are going to now recover opportunities. So if you can show the math on both sides of that equation, and in that YouTube video I just shared, right, we talk about the offense and the defense. Defense is, hey, you can save money. Offense is, you can make more money. You want to communicate both sides of that at all times to build the value of the service. And if you do that, super, super easy to at least say to a small business, this is a $497 a month service. There's no way that this service is not worth $497 a month, right? You're going to capture 30% more, 50% more phone calls, and you are not going to have to hire an unreliable employee that you have to pay benefits, that doesn't show up for work, that has sick days and all that type of stuff to do it. Any business owner that can look at you and say that's not worth $497 a month is a business owner you don't want to do business with. Okay. Now, just because you're presenting that as the price does not mean that that is how we are always going to charge for it, though. And the way that you charge for it specifically is up to you and your go to market strategy and the competition that you see out there in your marketplace. And that is up to you to decide, but I will share with you some thoughts on it. So, one, as many of you know, I'm a very big fan of having low price point foot in the door services that you use just to get your hooks, right? And so this, since it's going to be this pay-per-use model, is an incredible opportunity to just use that as a very aggressive foot in the door to get your hooks. They're still going to be paying for it, right? Because it's a pay-per-use. So as their use grows, you're still going to be making money from it. So it's not like you're just giving it away for free, but you could get them started at essentially no cost or super, super low cost. Maybe charge some sort of setup fee just to cover some of your sales and marketing costs, but you can really aggressively market that. So just like I have trained people to offer free websites. Free websites are a great offer because everybody needs or wants a new damn website, and free, it's everybody's favorite word, and it's this dramatic offer. Okay. Now, the back end of that is you're going to charge $97 a month for hosting, and you're going to upsell a good percentage of those people into a more full service package. So it's not, it's not like you're just giving away the farm by offering free websites. That's not what I'm suggesting. But you can structure this foot in the door around AI in a very similar way. Okay. Then the next thing that I would do is I would consider just offering this AI suite as a standalone product, where you're just pitching it as, hey, this is what we do. We offer these AI tools for small businesses to make them hyper efficient at low cost. Here are our plans: $297, $497, $697. Just like I've taught, in my pricing and packaging sheet. And you just, though, focus around the benefits of this whole AI thing and kind of make yourself a specialist in that for a period of time here. And you just vary the $297, $497, $697. Just again, like I've already shown you in the service package design sheet, it's just going to be a usage-based model. How many numbers do you have access, set up, or how many minutes do you get included in each per month, that type of thing. Okay. So you can do that. The third way that you can do it is you are a full marketing system for whatever particular business. We have the complete marketing system for plumbers. That complete marketing system is $297, $497, $697. One of the critical capabilities of that is what we call our AI employee. But it's also, that we do email for you and we do content for you. So it's this marketing system. That's one of the capabilities. And that's baked into this whole thing. You get access to it all at $297. But again, you have a usage-based price component to everything that you're doing. So at some point or another, it may make sense for them to go to $497 or $697. Okay. Those are the three ways I would think about it. Those are the same three ways that I think about every service that you can offer through HighLevel. It's all about getting these businesses onto a recurring revenue model with you, where you've got high enough margins that you can service them properly, support them properly, and they're going to get incredible benefits to their business from having access to everything that they need. Some businesses need much less of it from a usage basis because they're real small businesses, and so they can be priced lower. Some of them need much more of it, and so they're going to be priced higher. They have more employees, they have more activity, so you price them higher. But you're giving all of these businesses what they need to succeed rather than holding back features and benefits from them. Okay? It's the same way I think about anything that HighLevel rolls out, pretty much. Okay? AT says, what advice do you have for building our business to sell? Though I don't want to now, I'd like to structure it. Yes, you should structure your business as if you're going to sell it from day one, and operate it as if you're going to sell it from day one, even if you never end up selling it. For two reasons. One, you may end up needing to sell it, even if you didn't plan on it. You may have some medical emergencies, some, whatever. You just may need to okay, I got to get out of this thing. The second reason is just that you're just going to be running a better, more valuable business. Even if you decide to just hang on to it, your business will be better. It will be making you more money. So why not run it that way? Okay. So what are the things that you need to do to build a business to sell? Most important thing that most small businesses screw up is they don't have good bookkeeping. Okay. You've got to have good bookkeeping. Because if I go to buy your business and your books are a mess and you're telling me, yeah, Mike, I make $1 million a year at this business. And then I go into the books and the books tell me a different story. I immediately go, okay, best case, you're just sloppy and you don't really understand your numbers. Worst case, you're a liar or a fraud, right? One of those. All of a sudden, when I was prepared to, pay you $5 million for your business, now I'm not sure I'm prepared to pay you anything, right? All of a sudden, I'm looking at this in a totally different way. And I'm now really focused on just covering my downside risk. Like, what if this guy is screwing me, right? What do I not know about this situation? So all of a sudden, the agreement changes in nature dramatically. Okay. I speak from experience. I bought a business in Santa Monica where the guy was a total joker with his books, and he got almost nothing out of me up front because he was a joker with his books. And I just told him, I was like, look, I have zero ability to trust what you're saying. I cannot possibly go back to my company and my shareholders and say, I'm going to cut you a big check when your books are a disaster. There's no way it's going to happen. So our options are here. We just kill the deal, or you work with me on a pay for performance basis. And that's the only way this is going to work. And so I end up being able to buy the business on a pay for performance basis. So that's number one, AT. Two is just all the legal structure BS of making sure your business is set up right, that you've got the proper licensing, any of that type of stuff, just making sure that there's no liabilities out there that are going to cause problems for the acquirer. Third thing is, and for most people, I don't think on this call this is going to be a case, but if you're going to have shareholders in your business, that you've got a properly structured shareholder plan and cap table and stuff like that. Again, if I try and go buy your business and you have 6 family members that are shareholders, and the details about how they own those shares, what they can do with those shares, how they can vote, can they not vote, what rights do they have to whatever. And your second cousin who owns shares is a total character who's off out of his mind. Like, all of a sudden, again, as an acquirer, that creates sticky situations where I'm like, oh geez, I just don't know, can I get this person out of here entirely, all that. And then the last thing that I would just say is your model. Your model fundamentally drives the value of the business. And this is why I'm stressing you got to do productized services at the right price points, at the right, just structure. And the reason why is if you've got your custom web design agency and I buy that from you, I just bought a job. I got to do custom web design now for customers, which, there are people who can do that and have a decent business. But if instead, AT, you have structured your businesses around productized services that are generating recurring revenue with high margins month after month, and I can look at that and go, oh, wow, the average customer stays with AT for 4 years and 7 months, paying $497 a month at 72% margins. I can buy that and go, awesome. I just got to keep the lights on, and I'm going to have this revenue stream coming in with very high margins for the next 4 years. So it's a totally different valuation I'm going to put on your business. So model matters. Model matters so much. Okay. I hope that helps you, AT. Let's see here. I'm not through the HLA execution checklist. I'm not yet clear on how the R4 sales method and the 5S system work together. Can you give me some hints on the way it all comes together? Yes. So Matt, good to see you, sir, by the way. So Matt, the R4, and in particular, I will say the R6. Okay, so the R6, Matt, is an update that I did just about 6 months ago or so, where I'm giving some new, more complete frameworks on how to have that conversation to explain marketing and then tie it to your services, just like the R4 has always done. But I found that there was some gaps in the R4 now that HighLevel has such a robust set of features that I wanted to change that conversation framework a little bit. So I created the R6. So make sure that you are digging into the R6, Matt, and not just the R4. And then what I also did with the R6 is I wanted to map the sales conversation to specifically, now here's how we deliver that in HighLevel. Okay. So I wanted to bridge that gap for you guys so that it would be easier to go, okay, I just had this conversation. Now I need to deliver on that. Here's what I'm going to use inside of HighLevel to deliver on that. So we've created this R6 service delivery snapshot that ties in all kinds of the promises you make in the R6 to the capabilities of what you can do in HighLevel. Okay. The 5F, Matt, and I know everybody, lots of acronyms and stuff like that, but I've been doing this stuff for a long time, so I have a variety of systems and I like acronyms. The 5F, Matt, is a way for you to organize how you're thinking about marketing and structuring your marketing assets for any business. Okay. And so just to highlight what I mean a little bit more. We can talk about, like, let's just say, reputation or sending out a newsletter or whatever, right? But where does that fit? Where do those things fit into the overall process of what you're trying to accomplish with your marketing? And maybe I can just hold on, let me see if I can just pull up the 5F real quick and just show you. But the point is that as you are creating assets to actually do the marketing for any business, you want to know what role they play in the overall marketing process that you have for your business. Okay. And so the 5Fs refer to these steps that you're taking in your marketing to complete a marketing cycle. Okay. And so, as an example, the first F is find. Okay. So, find. So, if you are, your initial marketing that you're doing, you are trying to find people who are interested in your services and want to work with you, right? So that's the first F, is find. Okay. So the next F, right, in that cycle, and here we go, I can share it with you now. I've got it right here. The next F in that cycle then is, hold on, let me just get this shared. The next F you can see there is filter. Okay. So by filter, what I mean is I'm trying to find out, are these people interested in my specific services and ideally interested enough to raise their hand, opt in, follow us on social media, things like that. Right. So I'm essentially filtering on what's your degree of interest. And then frame is I'm doing all my messaging and content and all that type of stuff to try to frame how you're thinking about me, how you're thinking about our services in your mind. Okay. So I am trying to do the ongoing educational communication and things like that to make sure that you are starting to put me and my services in first position to solve the problem that you need solved. Right. I want everybody out there in the agency universe to think of Mike Cooch as the guy that can teach me how to build a scalable, recurring revenue, productized service business that ultimately I could sell. Right. So by my content that I'm putting out into the universe, I should be thinking about what's the messaging and stuff like that that allows me to do that. Next is then I'm following up. There are certain people who through this process are showing increasing signs of interest. I can do that by lead scoring. I can do that by the fact that they book time on my calendar or whatever it is. And I am now going to follow up with them more aggressively to see if I can close an opportunity with them within this next sales cycle. Okay. And then there's follow through. If they become a customer of ours, we want to turn them into raving fans. So we've got to follow through on the promises that we made. So that's the fifth F. And the reason why I show this as a cycle is to acknowledge that, particularly in today's world, once somebody is a raving fan, that's the best way for you to now find new people, right? Because raving fans are out there on social media talking about you, sharing how good your training was, sharing, how they like you, all that type of stuff. Then they are essentially creating the content that now helps other people find you. Okay, that's the way social media works in today's world, reputation, reviews, and all that. So this cycle is the same cycle that I use when I'm thinking about a plumbing business, a hair salon, or my training business services that scale. Every one of those businesses needs to have a process for finding, filtering, framing, follow up, and follow through. And so inside of my marketing systems, inside of HighLevel, literally like my email follow-up sequence or my email sequences that I have in there will be called filter dash, this type of offer, filter new websites, whatever, frame new websites, or frame reputation, frame Facebook advertising. So essentially, I am organizing all of the assets that I'm using in my marketing based on those 5 Fs, so that when I go into my system, there is a naming structure for all of the assets so that I can easily find, hey, where is that follow-up sequence for Facebook? Right? So I then put in follow-up, and then I search and I see follow-up dash Facebook. Okay, great. There's my follow-up sequence for Facebook. So I can easily organize my thinking to make sure that I'm putting in all of the assets that I need to help a business. And I'm also organizing the actual structure of those assets to make sure that I'm keeping myself pulled together and I can find things easily and stuff like that. So it's a very, very practical, it's meant to be a very practical tool to, again, help you think through, am I doing all of these steps for this particular business? And how am I organizing the assets? And then also you can see, in my opinion, in my experience, people are way too sloppy with the way they refer to people in different stages of their marketing cycle. So in other words, the word that I hate the most in marketing is leads. Everybody just says leads. Hey, Mike, do you know where I can buy some leads? Or, hey, Mike, I've got this lead who said that they want to spend 10 grand with me this month. Okay, that's not a lead. That's an opportunity. An opportunity is somebody saying they want to spend 10 grand with you this month. A lead is somebody who has raised their hand and said, I'm interested. A suspect is somebody that you are targeting with your ads. They don't know you at all, but they have the characteristics of somebody who looks like they could be a lead. Now, we know only a very small percentage of those people will actually take action to become a lead, even if they have all the characteristics, because they just may not be interested, right? So a lead is somebody who's actually raised their hand and indicated some interest. A prospect is somebody that I can see increasing interest and activity, indicating that, hey, this person is actually probably going to be an opportunity soon. I should spend more time and energy on this than I should on this. And I should spend much more time and energy on an opportunity than I should a prospect, because an opportunity is somebody saying that they want to spend money with me in the next sales cycle. Okay, so specific language is used throughout this framework, and it's specific language is also used, again, when I'm naming things in my systems, so I easily know what's what and can find it all. Because the day that you go and build out a bunch of this stuff for a bunch of different businesses and you don't have a consistent naming structure, you're going to realize how much you hate that. It becomes a giant mess. So that's what the 5F is. I know it's that's a long answer. Maybe, it scrambles your brain a little bit, but I hope that ultimately ends up being helpful. Let's see here. Scott says, not sure how IVR and voice AI work together yet. Would love clarity on that. Yeah, Scott. So the good news is that Sean Clark, before running HighLevel, his business prior to that was a call center. Okay, so he is very, very well versed. In fact, from the day I met him, 6 years ago now, he has been talking to me about how he wants to roll out voice capability because he knows how powerful having some sort of voice service is for small businesses. So this is it coming to life for him. So he knows exactly how IVR and voice AI and all this stuff need to come together. So as an example, on the call I had with him this morning, he was saying that you have to have it set. You have to have the ability to have a setting where the voice AI will only kick in if it reaches a busy number or a non-answer, right? So that way you can give the business the opportunity to pick it up with a live human if that's their preference. But then if it hits a busy or it hits a non-answer, then go to voice AI as a backup. He's like, if you don't have that setting, then we're going to not be able to sell this nearly as well because a lot of businesses will go, no, I want to have a human pick it up. But if the human can't pick it up, then I want the voice AI to kick in, right? So those details, Scott, are going to be baked into the system. Some of those details are not there as we would like them today. And I would just tell you that they have a very robust and aggressive development path on this. And so a lot of these details that you're hoping for that you may not see in there today, like you'll literally probably see in there in 10 days, right? Because they're going live with this free thing on November 15th. You can bet that there's going to be a lot of hustle done between now and the 15th to make sure some of those things are in there. Okay. So Scott, specifically though, IVR, somebody could call in, they could, get the message, hey, press 1 for sales, press 2 for support. They press 2 for support. It rings that number. Nobody's there. It then goes to voice AI, right? They call in, they hit 1 and they hit somebody in sales and there is somebody there. It doesn't go to voice AI, right? Because somebody live picked it up. So it's going to be something like that. What do you say about focusing on niching now versus one problem, one solution, one price? John, there's good benefits to both. I think it primarily depends on where you are and what your experience is. And what I mean by that is if this is your first time building a business and you don't have very specific knowledge about a particular niche, and maybe you're not very experienced in sales and you're like, I just need to get some momentum, then I would say don't focus on a niche. Just get out there and talk to as many small businesses as you can. Start making your value prop, try and get some sales, learn from those sales. And then most likely, after you've had some customers for 6 months, you are probably going to start defaulting on a niche on your own because you're going to get some good real world experience. You're going to say, yeah, look, every time I work with hair salons, I kick butt. They're happy. They stick with me. Every time I've sold to these other niches, it's been a mess. I don't like working with them, that type of thing. So it'll probably naturally happen, John. That being said, if you're starting today and you're like, hey, Mike, I was in the hair salon business for 12 years. I know everybody in that industry. I know every channel. I know them inside and out. I know the language. I'm super comfortable with what their problems are and how to solve them. Sweet. Jump into your niche, that's awesome because with that focus, you will be able to take a more focused marketing approach, sales approach, all that good stuff, service design approach. Ultimately, that's going to give you a competitive advantage. Okay. Yep. There you go. All right, cool. There's all kinds of stuff that we've covered. Seeing you talk about easy hooks to get people on Go HighLevel. Is a reputation review hook better than a free website hook? There's no better, Paul. There's no better. Okay. So the reason why I say that is Jonathan, who I talked to you about today, is taking my free website approach and is doing great. And then while I was at the summit, I met this very young man, 23 years old, super sharp, awesome young man who is crushing it, doing nothing but offering reviews. and he's 23, and I want to say, I don't know, he's doing like 25 grand a month now, passive recurring. I mean, how cool is that? Right. And he's on fire. I mean, that 25 grand, I am 1000% convinced when I see him at the summit next year, it'll be 125 grand. I have no question at all. So either one can work just fine. There is no better or best. I say that with acknowledgement, of course, that something like AI is a hot new thing. And so a hot new thing can absolutely get more attention than something that's been marketed. Businesses have been hearing about, oh, you should manage your reviews and reputation better. They've been hearing about that for years and years and years. So a new message will absolutely help you break through. So, that's why I think for the rest of the year and in 2025, I think the AI messaging is going to be very, very powerful. But there's so many good front end offers that you can put out there. And I think it's really just a matter of like you really figuring out who you're targeting, what specific messages are going to work best for them, that type of thing. Okay. Can you speak to the strategy for voice AI regarding necessary Twilio number alongside existing business number? Yeah. So Brian, you're going to set up and I would just set up the HighLevel number service. I'm forgetting what they refer to their numbers, but I would just use that. That's going to be your voice AI activated number. And then if somebody has an existing number that they want to keep on using, you can just forward the calls from that to the voice AI number. So they can continue to market that other number and then just roll those calls into the voice AI number. That would be the easy solution to that. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Have you been using the workflow AI assistant? I have not yet. But from what I hear, it's really damn good. But I have not played with it. I will probably play around with it this weekend. How do I know what payment software the booking calendar can integrate with? So HighLevel. So Sean Clark made he stressed the point at the HighLevel summit that HighLevel can integrate with any payment processor. So it is up to the payment processor to say, hey, we want to integrate with HighLevel, but HighLevel will integrate with any payment processor. So you could theoretically use any payment processor as long as that payment processor is willing to interact with HighLevel. Okay. So hopefully that helps you, AT. Has there been any UpHex-like attachment for Google Ads created? Yes. In fact, UpHex has created that. So I'll probably do an update call with him here on YouTube pretty quickly. But I would talk to UpHex. We can talk about that offline. Do you clarify how to show usage-based pricing on a website, for example? It's awkward offering money with tiers, but we also can't do credit because of different pricing. Oh, Darren, I disagree with that. I don't think there's any reason why you can't do credit because of differing prices per service. Credit is based on dollars. So if you just say, hey, you get $50 in credit, how they use that credit, some businesses are going to use chat a ton. Some are going to use voice a ton. It's at different pricing, but you get $50 in credit. So how they use that credit is up to that business. You absolutely can offer credit, and I think you should offer credit. And you just do it just based on dollars. Okay. And then if somebody says, well, what's the difference between the rates between, this and this? I would just show them here are our rates for this and this. I mean, it's no different than, your phone bill, right? If you're using AT&T and you don't have the unlimited plan or whatever, then they show you here's how much it is for inbound calls, outbound calls, SMS, whatever. It's a pain in the neck to have to show all that. I get it, but I just think you just have to do that. So you just have a little table pulled together, just like the one that I just showed you from HighLevel, where they're showing you, here's our pricing. You just do the same thing. If you decided you were going to mentor someone one-on-one, what qualities would you look for in a mentee? If you're asking me that personally, AT, or um, I guess I would just look for somebody who really was taking action on the feedback that you were giving them. I've done lots of one-on-one stuff, and the most frustrating thing in the world is when somebody keeps coming back to you with the same problems, and you give them advice and telling them what to do, or sharing your thoughts on what they should do, and then they don't go do anything, and then they just come back and tie up your time talking about the same stuff. I don't want to waste my time like that. Versus I have, the handful of people that it's like, hey, here's what I think you should do. And then they go and do it. And then they come back and they're like, here's what I did. Here's the results I got. What do you think I should do next? Like, that's fun. You get to see somebody really get after it. So that would be, to me, that's it. Yes, the Facebook group is dead to me. And I apologize. I'm just never in there. I'm never on Facebook anymore, personally. That was just like a decision for me where actually I don't even know if it was a decision or it just kind of happened, but Facebook just, became a place I would not spend time. So, and we have our private community in Circle. So yes, ideally you just hop in there. Yeah, let's see here. How do you address the surge investment for those who have already took your foot in the door? Good question, AT. So let's say you signed up for my $97 a month reputation service, okay? And then I, have a follow-up call with you. I share, hey, AT, there's lots of other things that we can do for your business. The next level up is this $297 plan where we do all of these things, including we build you a new website and stuff like that, so that all this stuff is integrated into your website. And if you are ready to upgrade to that $297 plan and take advantage of all those benefits, there is a one-time setup fee of $2,500. And then once we're done with the setup, we'll just upgrade your current 97 to a 297 price point on the monthly basis, and you're off to the races. So not much different than if I just pitched you straight from the start. Okay. Now, there are possibilities, AT. So let's say they sign up for your website service. And so you've already built the website, and then now you're upgrading them and you're showing them the suite of stuff that they're going to get. And one of them is a website. Well, then now you can say, hey, good news for you is our startup costs are normally $2,500 for this plan because we have to take all this time to build you a new website. But since you already have the website with us, we're able to knock that down to $1,000. So it's only $1,000 setup fee for you to, get upgraded to this next level of service. So there are opportunities to, look at what they're currently doing with you and potentially discount that. Okay. Just realize the impact of voice AI on the after hours call answering service. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Does HighLevel new social features replace the need for up hacks? Well, so AT, they have their own ad manager now. So yes, you bet. Of course. Absolutely. And yes, it is. Awesome. See you guys soon. I will follow up with you guys, Charles and Linda. I know I owe you one. So AT, they have their own ad manager now. So I just want to make sure you're thinking about that distinctly from the social features, because they have social features as well. Whether or not it replaces UpHex for you really depends, I think, on the specific things that UpHex can do well versus the specific things that HighLevel's ad manager do well, because they're not exactly the same. So I think that you've got to do a side-by-side comparison of those. And dig into the actual details of what are you offering for customers and how are you going to scale that service up. You need to evaluate it on a case. Each of you would need to evaluate that case by case because there's pros and cons to each. Okay. Darren said, so I use credit with money today, but if my higher tiers offer nothing but usage, for example, if my next tier is 200 more, do I offer $200 in credit? No. Nope. No, you take some percentage of whatever you're offering. I mean, your percentage of that price difference. So if it's $200 in additional charge that you're charging them, maybe you offer $50 in additional credit. Okay. So, and Darren, the usage would not be that would not be the only benefit of upgrading to that plan, would just be the additional credit type of thing, right? You'd have probably additional employees accessing the system, maybe additional features, things like that. So it was some percentage of that would go towards additional credit. Yeah. Um, you mentioned no longer being on Facebook. Should we target social media platforms based on our customer niche, aka where they are? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and just because I'm personally not spending time on Facebook doesn't mean I don't use Facebook for business. I advertise on Facebook every day, John. So, yes, but yeah, if you have an audience that is in a particular place heavily, you know, TikTok or LinkedIn or whatever, yes, absolutely advertise in that place. The reality is, pretty much every human being on the planet at this point is on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. So, you can kind of reach everybody there. But certainly, if you have a more limited budget and you're like, my audience is heavy LinkedIn, well, then advertise on LinkedIn. Okay. All right, everybody, I got to run. Thank you so much for being here. We talked a lot about it. If you want to know more about my high level bonus, you can head over to services at scale /high level bonus. You'll see it all there. Again, it doesn't matter which level of high level you sign up with. Through me, you're going to get access to all of my bonus content and community. And you can also upgrade and get all of that through me. So, I hope to see you in the community if you think that I can be helpful to you. And otherwise, always appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you being part of the community. There's so much damn exciting stuff that is happening right now that I hope that these calls get you excited about taking full advantage of them, productizing your services, focusing on recurring revenue, because I really do expect and have seen already, just going to like this high level summit, the number of people now that are really starting to benefit from this model and really making a bunch more money and just having better lives because they've got recurring revenue. So they're not so beholden to every client and doing all the custom work. Man, so much incredible opportunity here in the years ahead. So please get out there, get after it. Let me know if I can help you in any way. Thank you for being a part of my community. Thank you for being here on the call. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and we will see you same time, same place next week, I do believe. And I have some travel coming up, but I'm trying to remember when the heck. Oh, no, actually, gosh, I might be traveling next week. I am traveling next week. Yes. So I won't see you same time, same place. So I will get a call scheduled and we will figure it out. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Greg, please just email if you would, just so I don't forget here, help@servicesthatscale.com. And I will make sure that we get those to you. They are set up in a course that you will access through your high level courses through our customer center there. But just to make sure that we get those to you, please just email help@servicesthatscale.com and we will get you taken care of. Okay. Have a great day, everybody, and a great weekend. And we'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.